This week's show brought to you by Chenault and Hogue for all your insurance needs.
Welcome everybody to the Scott County Cardinals News Graphic Boys Basketball Coaches Show, the first edition of the year 2019, as the Cardinals made it to the end of the beach ball. They played on New Year's Eve in the prime spot, prime time, 7:30 championship game. First time the Cardinals had ever made it there, and it was the end of a whirlwind roller coaster, as many analogies as you want to use, week. It was just a wild week down there, a lot of highs and some lows to talk about. We mentioned the high. They got to the final and they played Westchester of Los Angeles, California. They defeated state championship caliber teams from Arkansas, North Little Rock, Cox Mill of North Carolina. Just some of the best teams in the country, teams that are ranked in the top 25 nationally along with Scott County. That's the good news. The bad news is they lost their star player, Michael Marino. In the Cox Mill game, he suffered a fracture in his right foot and he is out indefinitely. And by indefinitely, we really don't know. He has a cast on right now. And it's a matter of hopefully weeks of rehab and maybe getting back in time for the playoffs. We can all keep our fingers crossed and say a few prayers for him. But in the meantime, the Cardinals, shown in 2.5 games without Marino, really had Westchester on the ropes in the final especially. They were up by 9 with 7 minutes to go. And just the pace of that game and the pace of the tournament and all the emotions of the tournament, I think finally probably caught up with Scott County, as we'll mention, as Coach Hicks will mention shortly. Just hard to sustain that pace and do some things that they didn't have to normally do, slow the game down a little bit and run basically a top-to-top offense. Couldn't really get off a lot of three-pointers, really couldn't afford to run and press with a team that was so tall and athletic and was built to out-rebound the Cardinals in their current situation. But wow, what an effort, even in a 42-41 loss. Just really set up the Cards for, I think, a strong second half, even as they move forward without Michael Marino. Glenn Covington, want to give him a shout out for 31 points in the semifinal game down there against North Little Rock. Hit 5 threes and just controlled that game. Diablo Stewart played outstanding at the point guard position, 1 turnover in that semifinal, and really kind of helped dictate the pace in the championship game that Scott County needed to play. Bryce Long had some big moments down there, Lorenzo Williams as well, and off the bench, you're going to see Taryn Hamilton and Kobe Harris take on a huge role as we go forward, and we can't forget Cam Fluker either, just does a little bit of everything for the Cards back there. So what was kind of an 8 or 9 man rotation is going to be 7 or 8 for a while. We'll see how it affects Scott County as they go forward into what's probably going to be the toughest weekend of the regular season, at least the remaining regular season. They'll go to Henry Clay on Friday night. That's always a tough 42nd District matchup. Now, Scott County has owned it on paper here the last few years, but Henry Clay gave them a battle last season, and there's every reason to expect that with the guys they get returning, that'll be a tough game in Lexington on Friday night. And then the Cards turn around on Saturday, go down to the Raymond Reed Classic at South Laurel. Well, they'll play none other than Trinity. The team that they beat in the first round of the Sweet 16 a year ago on that Cooper Robb shot from the corner. The team that's ranked second in the state, even without David Johnson, its star, who's had a knee injury. Not sure if Johnson's going to play Saturday or not. We know Marino won't. So the teams will be a little bit of a shadow of themselves, but still I think most people's consensus 1 and 2 in the state as programs and coaches that always seem to find a way. They'll take whatever personnel they have and they'll figure things out. Trinity's lost 4 of its last 5 coming into this week, so it's been a tough adjustment for them, but that will be a game to keep your eyes on, and we'll hope to be there Saturday night and get all the details for you. Going forward into that, there's one more week after that, and then we'll be talking about the Toyota Classic. Always a great time, the best week of the year to see the Cards, both teams at home, and we look forward to bringing you all that action and all the discussion about that as we go forward. Coach Hicks, so proud of his team. He'll tell you that himself. He's been down there 11 times now. The team is 22-20 overall in that tournament. So a winning record in that tournament lifetime against just the best teams in the country, players that went on to NCAA Division I stardom, NBA stardom. You think about Grayson Allen, everybody loves him, I'm sure, from his Duke days, but a lot of other players as well. He's the recent one that comes to mind that they played against down there. But it's a program, it's a tournament that's meant a lot to Coach Hicks over the years, as evidenced by the fact that he was inducted into their Hall of Fame. Want to give him some praise for that as well. They honored him for his unofficial 1,000th win down there. And then we know Kentucky has taken 10 of those away, so they're at 991 right now. Let's see what Coach Hicks has to say about all those milestones and a great week down in South Carolina. Scott County made an amazing run to the final minute of the beach ball championship game without Michael Marino.
I'm so proud of our guys, Cal. And, I was wondering, especially the last two games, and with Little Rock and then with Westchester, how could we play with them without Mike? I was wondering if we could play with them with Mike, much less without Mike. But I'm really proud of our guys. We really, over the years, we've never really talked about wins and losses, winning games. Our main thing we talk about, Cal, is our goal before every game is first of all, play hard as you can play. The only pressure on you is to see how hard you can play. And I really believe that the whole tournament in particular, especially those last three games, they gave us everything they had. They gave it all. I mean, nobody left anything that wasn't out there on the court. I mean, and battle a team that was probably quicker than us and bigger than us and all that, and to have the success that tournament that we had. Because when you look back at it, we had two guys on the all-tournament team. Lorenzo got the Defensive Player Award. But there were some guys in that tournament that's going to play NBA basketball that didn't make the all-tournament team. There were some teams down there that haven't lost a game, and they won the state last year and haven't lost a game with us. That only won one game. I think University School out of Morgantown, West Virginia, won one game, and they were defending state champs and come in there undefeated. Cox's Mill won back-to-back state championships. Little Rock's won, I don't know how many state championships, they won them all the last few years down in Arkansas. So all these teams came in and lost a couple ball games down there. To go to the beach ball, have a chance to win it, and then just lose one ball game is quite an accomplishment for anybody.
Westchester's athleticism finally caught up with the Cards.
They had a lot more depth, and then when they started pressing us, man, that's like getting across a desert and then seeing a river and then saying, "Oh, it's a mirage." Because then you got to reach in and get some more energy. We thought we got them down 8. We thought, well, we get some. Then they called timeout and they started pressing us. Well, a big part of our press offense is Michael. That's the first time that we faced a press without Michael. So that was tough. But Cal is experienced, and now we've faced a really good press now without Michael. We faced a really good defense. Westchester, out of LA, plays better defense than any team I've seen in those tournaments like that in a long time. They're really good defensively. It's hard to get a shot against them.
The Cardinals will face more hungry teams in their first week back in Kentucky.
Kentucky high school basketball, boy, they're going to play their tails off. Teams are against us. And now with Mike out, I'm sure that's not hurting their feelings any. Everybody thinks now, you probably lose argument. And I've always said he's the best all-around player in the state of Kentucky. And to have him out of our lineup, especially our biggest player and stuff. But, we have a lot of students here at Scott County, and we have a lot of basketball to pick from. So it means that Kobe Harris and Taryn showed down there they can play. And so I think they got the confidence, Cal. The other guys knew they could play. But now Taryn and Kobe had to step in down there and show. They did a lot of good things for us and play. And now we've got to get Jalen Barber. Jalen, if he's ever going to step up and play, now's the time. He's got to give us some minutes right now. And what that means is Jalen's got to come in and play hard. Come in and play like a Tasmanian devil for a few minutes. And then we can rest him. But he's got to do that. And so this is really, it's sad, and I feel like, gosh, if I could give Mike my angle, I would. You wouldn't want my ankle over. but what we're saying though is it's a time for other guys to step up. And when we get Mike back, it'll make everything grow. It'll make us a better team.
Glenn Covington and Lorenzo Williams earned all-tournament recognition at the beach ball.
You know, I've seen that in him for a long time. We just never could get him in a situation to really concentrate and work at basketball. And you saw him out. I mean, he put up 31 against Little Rock, Arkansas. My goodness, I could never do that against a team like that. You know, and not many people can. I don't think anybody in the whole tournament had 31 against Little Rock McGlynn. And guy, he hit big shot after big shot. Against Westchester, he hit big shots. We just couldn't get him. We couldn't get the shots for him. You know, because Westchester just so good defensively. And we tried, but the ones he got, he hit. So now we get back on a level where, you know, Glenn is not going to face anybody around Kentucky here that's any better athlete than he is. You know, he faced a lot of Glenn's down there in that tournament. But now I think you can really see Glenn grow. I see some maturity in him, Cal, that I've been hoping for. And I see that with him. And Glenn done it for 4 days. Usually Glenn's been 2 days and then something would distract him or Glenn would get upset or Glenn would get, you know, it's hard for Glenn to keep it up game after game after game. And he's doing that.
Diablo Stewart held up under extreme pressure in the Beach Ball Classic.
Forced games, even the Sockesty came out and got after Diablo good. I mean, point guards. Boy, he faced that every night. Cox's Mill has, like, they're talking the best team ever come out of North Carolina. But, you know, I don't buy that because I saw James Worthy and Lord Free play at Gastonia Ashburn. They had a pretty good team. But Cox's Mill is a really good team with Wendell Moore is going to Duke and Chris Wells going to UNC Charlotte. And the point guard was a lot bigger than he looked a lot bigger in real life than he was in. Now he has get to 16, 18 game, and Harvard and Yale and everybody's recruiting him because he's a really good player and a really smart kid.
Henry Clay and Trinity will test the Cards' shortened bench this weekend.
Boy, that was brilliant scheduling on my part to come back and jump right into Henry Clay, and then got Trinity the next night. But you know, I'm looking forward, though, Cal, to seeing how we respond, how this team's going to do, how we're going to respond, because I really like how we're coming to practice now and how we're getting going, and they're tough kids, and you know, we've had Bryce will be playing a lot of posts now. As Lorenzo plays a lot of posts, both of them are wings. But now, if Taryn and Kobe and Jalen can really come on, they'll still be playing a lot of wings. So that is a big key for us in the next few weeks.
All right, that was Coach Hicks, and it'll be a test for him as well, as he'll have to stretch the lineup and move some things around and see how things go without Michael here in the weeks ahead. We mentioned a couple of those guys are going to have to step it up. Taryn Hamilton, a 6'5" junior. He's had flashes of real brilliance. We think of the game against Lexington Christian where he had a great play with a dunk. And Kobe Harris, I think his game has really stepped up here in this senior year as you see his desperation to make this last year count. And now he's going to really have to turn up the wick without Marino in the lineup. Let's see what Taryn and Kobe had to say.
Taryn and Kobe are proud of SC's best ever performance in the beach ball.
We played really well, played with a lot of heart and everything. Worked really hard to get to the championship. Proud of where we got in the tournament. Kind of wanted to win, but I'm okay with that loss. We can learn from it a lot.
It was a heartbreaking loss, obviously, but you know, when you give it your all or nothing, it feels good just to be able to participate in such a big tournament and see all the big teams you play and face. But I'm satisfied with playing in the championship game and taking that loss. Went from it.
The physical challenge of Westchester was too tough to overcome down the stretch.
They're very athletic. They play a little faster than what we play here, and much bigger and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, with Mike's injury, everybody had the pressure on. I mean, that last shot, everybody misses. It's just a game of ball. That's how I look at it.
Rebounding will be important for the Cardinals as the season wears on.
Keep them under control so they wouldn't get out of hand or get like the momentum against us, we try to keep the momentum on our side and play the way we wanted to play instead of the way they wanted us to play.
Just rebounding and more rebounding, really. Not really worried about trying to put the ball in the basket because we got plenty of efficient shooters, but being a presence down low with my size is something that I think we can shock more people with.
Both Taryn and Kobe will need to step up in Michael Marino's absence.
Just playing tougher, getting more rebounds, trying to fill in the role of what Mike was doing.
Yeah, you'll see the big dog out of everybody coming soon.
Scott County doesn't expect to change its style of play against Henry Clay or Trinity.
Rebound, play the way we play, not the way they want us to. Play with heart and hustle real hard.
I mean, if we can get any team on their heels because of the way that we run, I feel like we'll be good against both teams.